A to B, connected to C, then step.
You know, although many animals use tools, elephants, chimpanzees, otters, crows, human beings are the only animal that take pleasure, that get pleasure from putting things together themselves or preparing complicated dishes like a paella. In fact, in the US and in the UK, there is a big do-it-yourself or DIY movement, and people actually spend their free time going to hardware stores, doing home improvements, putting together furniture themselves. Which leads us to the three structures that we're going to talk about today. The first one is to do something yourself, and that means to do it without help. Notice the difference. To do something by yourself means that you do it alone, whereas to do it yourself means without help. The next two structures are really pretty similar. One of them is to have somebody do something for you. Notice we don't use to here. You have somebody do it. For example, when my sink broke in my bathroom, I had my brother-in-law fix it. Tuesday. How much? 30 euros. Okay, all right, thank you. Your third option then is to have something done. And notice we use the verb to have, the object, and a past participle. When the person who does this thing for us is obvious or not important, we normally use the third structure to have something done. For example, if I tell you simply, I had my car repaired, you would imagine that it was by a mechanic. So really this notion of do-it-yourself started about 2 million years ago with Homo habilis, who started to use tools to cut and to hunt, and really it has been hardwired into our system ever since that the bigger our effort, the bigger the reward is going to be. Whether that involved climbing the tallest tree to get the best fruit, or using our skills to hunt the biggest and meatiest animal. But then the Industrial Revolution came, and many of these tasks that we used to do manually were all of a sudden made automatic, and we no longer had to do many of these things ourselves. And that's where marketing came in. That's right, marketers made us believe that if we put in a little effort, that by doing things ourselves, the final result was going to be of higher quality or was going to be more valuable. An interesting anecdote occurred in the 1940s with the appearance of cake mixes in the United States. Housewives did not feel needed and did not like the fact that everything had been done for them. Consequently, cake mixes were not very successful until experts suggested adding a step of adding the egg yourself. That's right, they changed the mixes so that the housewives had to add the eggs themselves, and sales took off. The Harvard economist Michael Norton calls this phenomena the IKEA effect. And in one experiment, participants were given a box that had already been put together, or one that they had to put together themselves. They were then asked to put a price on each item, and the box that they had put together themselves was valued at 62% more than the prefab box. You know, the same thing happened in an experiment with origami. Participants were asked to make an origami crane and then compare it to cranes that had been made by origami experts. The result? The cranes that people had made themselves were rated 400 times higher than those made by the experts. You know, Karl Marx said another result of the Industrial Revolution is that we have all been trained to carry out one specific task over and over again, and we never get the satisfaction of starting something and seeing it completed. So, next time that you're going to have a dress made, or have floors installed, or have your heater repaired, maybe you can try to do it yourself. I'm Colby Price. Thanks for watching Science Snack.